I got hungry, but that's all they had, so I had to do Coke with cheese puffs and cookies. Country people ride bikes too. Oh, look at that mountains. Ain't that pretty? That's beautiful. But there's bears up here. Road trip. Woo! Probably won't give me. Woo-wee. That's pretty. Something about the mountains. These crazy people driving the mountains. That's insane. Insane. You're driving like 70 miles an hour on these mountains. Cool. The mule. Breakfast. Chicken and peas. Yeah. Ooh, windy day. Till it's fall. Look at the leaves are falling. They falling more here than that trip I went on yesterday. Yeah. Knocking them all down. There won't be no leaves on the trees for long. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I found several things lately that kind of relax me. You know, I like the dance music and other stuff just kind of gets in the zone. But these leaves blowing through the wind blowing through the trees, that's relaxing too. So it don't take much. I guess it's just certain sounds or just makes you relax. I'm fixing to walk in the rain. It starts raining. Y'all know how bad it's gonna rain. But today, I can't drink coffee. Because if I drink coffee, I won't get any sleep. So I'm probably gonna have to go on the porch. Man, I'm gonna get all my glasses and my phone. I had to sit on the porch because it's starting to rain. I wanted to walk in the woods and hear all these sounds while I was walking in the woods. I might do it here in a minute. But, you know, it's crazy. The older you get, and you got to take care of yourself because your body changes how much abuse it can take. And walking is very important. I just read something about somebody walking, saying, they said, I don't know who it is, walking can reduce cancer by 40%. Not medical advice, just what I read. I don't know if that's true, but you do get stiff, and if you sit around a lot, it makes a difference. Sometimes walking makes me hurt after I walk so much, but I'm able to walk, so it's worth it. Because I don't want to take any of this stuff they're trying to throw at me. Because, you know, once you get older, there's nothing they can really do. They just kind of treat the symptoms, you know, or at least what I've seen. So I'm eating better and everything. And like I was eating before I go to work. Then I come home hungry because I get off early. So now I'm not eating before I go to work. Just my coffee and maybe a light snack. So I can control what I'm eating. But it's been a discovery, you know. I was married, lost my wife, and I was thinking, what'd I do? And I thought, well, maybe I'm just, you know, lonely, not being around people. And it's okay to be around people. Like, I went to the thing last night, talked to a couple people, but it wasn't a one-on-one level, it's just kind of a spectator type visitor vibe. Talk to a few, but not really more than you would at a gas station or ordering food at a restaurant. So that's not it. So just searching for peace or what makes me happy. And I like music. I don't know if I can do all the crazy stuff, but EDM, which is electronic dance music, and somebody told me about 2 apps. So I'd like to go to that. I got a job that's going to be hard to get off, but just doing stuff. And you just got to keep doing things till you find out something that you like doing. Whatever that is. You never know, because there are a lot of things a lot of people like to do. It ain't me, or at least not in that concept. Yeah, I can still see it kind of sprinkling a little bit. It wasn't sprinkling. All this wind blew the rain in. I joined like a over 50s dating group from my job that I'm at now. The guy retired, and he said, I'm going to this new thing. I'll send you an invite. I went. It was all right, but then they want to do a lot of stuff that I've never really done before, which seemed cool. But then I was like, well, I don't like doing that. Why should I waste my time and money on doing that? It's like, I don't like doing that. I like going on walks, woods, kind of peace, and, this electronic music, which is around hundreds of thousands of people. And I asked my son, I said, you want to go? Because just about every time I go on a long trip, getting old, and I get sleepy. Like, I was coming back last night, but fair enough. I got up at, what time I get up? About 3:30 Saturday morning, and I went to work 8 hours, and then I got some stuff, and then I went all the way 150-something mile drive from here to close to Asheville, North Carolina, and then stayed there till like 11:30 watching this little show, which was pretty cool, and then had to get some gas because it took a lot of gas to get up there, and I was like, do I want to go there or do I want to go home? And I said, if I get, I was thinking about going to a club, and I said, well, if I get there, it'll be almost 2:30, and things kind of slow down. So I said, well, I'm really tired. And I was like, running on that little yellow line. I was like, good gracious. And I'm drinking a little Diet Mountain Dew, and I was like, this ain't doing it. I bought a Monster, and I didn't have to drink it, but I ate some sour cream and potato chips. And then I had another Mountain Dew, and it's like I woke up, and the miles started getting closer to going home, and I started feeling better. And I bought some chewing gum. They kind of kept me awake, and I made it back home and slept pretty good. My grandbabies woke up all over the house. But yeah, just learning what you want to do, without spending a lot of money. And then, I got off the dating app, so that's really cool. Because most of them, for me, I ran into a lot of people just wanting money or thought what I wanted to do was kind of crazy. So, everybody's got their own likes and dislikes. And the older you get, you got a lot of baggage, or you got a lot of stuff that you don't want to put up with. And it might be invisible baggage. You're like, you don't want to deal with the nonsense no more. And nobody wants to deal with your nonsense. So, I don't know. Just finding peace. Trying to see if it's might have slowed down. Let me see. No, it didn't slow down. I stuck my hand out like you shaking the window or outside. And ba-doop, ba-doop. I still feel the drop. So, it ain't bad. But with electronic devices, you don't want to have to walk out here and get all wet. But man, I don't want to walk out here in the woods. And my son, one time, he didn't want to walk in the houses or outside as hot. So it almost got in a big scrimmage. He was walking around the middle of the house, like the little kitchen, living room, getting the steps in, and they were watching TV. Everybody had a knockdown drag out. So I want to do that. Ain't nobody here. But I'd rather walk in the woods. There's just something about the peace. And I gotta trim up a little bit. And I've been using the electric thing, which is pretty good. I thought, well, maybe I'll start shaving that. But, you know, right here, instead of using it, because it don't get it all. But I got to keep up neatly appearance. I got some videos, probably over, let's see, 2024, over about a year and a half. I got some. I have a real long beard, as I didn't have to worry about shaving, and other guys had long beards, you know, maintenance guys. So, and I was working outside to try to stay warm. So, you know, you had to have a long beard, and they didn't say it couldn't be any length, and some of them had it way down here. So it was cool. That was a cool time. I looked like a woolly booger. But, you know, now I had to keep my keep my beard kind of straight. But it's cool, you know, living life. Watching these chickens with their, whatever my daughter's doing over there. All the things she took about, the neighbor helped her. Probably took about another 12 foot of parking space. So now we had to watch out how we park in the yard so we don't hit each other. But yeah. So this is nice too, you know. No snow hardly, and I still got my trees, and it's quiet. But you know, going up the mountains, it's a different feel, different vibe. You know, everything, everywhere you go, there's a hill. You walk up the parking lot, you get in the buildings are kind of straight, but everywhere you go, you gotta walk up a hill, down a hill, to the side of the hill. You know, this is like the Asheville area. There's a lot of hilly areas, or you know, because I guess everything's built on the mountains. It looks cool. It's modernized. I remember taking my wife before. I think it was before they had the fire. You know, about, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe, I don't know. But I was pushing her wheelchair. She was having a hard time walking, and we was going down one of the hills. Now I'd be kind of afraid to do that. But I think I can still hold her, because I've been walking. But yeah, I had to hold her so she didn't go all the way down the hill. And it'd be like, ain't no telling if she jumped the curve, ran inside a bus, or hit a car. You know, they got little trolleys running around up there in Gatlinburg, and we did that some. You know, we mostly walked, but if you wanted to get one that went to the other area, you had to make sure you caught the right one. So that was kind of cool, a little touristy area, and everything in there, mountain stuff. The back of it, made in China. You know, ain't too much stuff's local. So you know, it's kind of commercialized, and it's like we come to the mountains to go shopping and buy stuff in China. So, you know, we're in the mountain shopping. While we're in the mountain shopping, we out in the mountains looking and walking. You know, I'd rather have seen everything. I was bored of my wife. She'd rather go shopping. Let's get a deal. You know, let's go yard selling and we get the mountain stuff. Bless her soul. Bless her soul. But yeah. So just, you know, you got to find your peas. It might take a while. Find what you like. It's still raining. Oh, I think it stopped. Oh. Let's try it. Oh. So far I can get to walking before I get rained out. See, the clouds are real bad. So that I'm walking up under a rain cloud. I had to take my son here to work a little bit. But the other day, I did good. I got over 15,000 steps. And my daughter told me, well, your shoes were up there at the mailbox. So I wore my new shoes the first day, and it did good. And I'm not hurting as bad. So, you know, I was thinking I was going to have to go to the doctor or something and get yep, he let me know they're there. Don't forget to feed us. You know, interpret it, all kind of things. Don't forget to feed us. My girls get hungry. Don't forget to feed us. Don't forget to feed us. Don't forget about us too. We get to smell all these eggs. We get to smell all these eggs all the time, but we never get nothing to eat. Look at me. Look at me. We're just like little kids. Where my food at? Where my food at? Why you rail my girls? Well, you gonna come in here and get my eggs? What's wrong with you? Crazy chickens. Yeah, even a female chicken saying that. You better come here and get my eggs. They're like people, a person. You know, I thought they'd be bad when they'd wake me up, but in my room with the fan going, nothing wakes me up except my grandkids. It's like I go somewhere, stay up late, you know. That's like my grandkids, but it's like do 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 do. World War III in there. Good gracious. What is that? Are you a rooster? You trying to be a rooster? What's that? Crazy birds. You never know what's gonna happen out here. But yeah, I only had 500 steps today so far. So what the world? I don't think I've heard that before. I got some defective chickens. You know, I'm the financial connoisseur, and my daughter's doing all the work. So I asked her, I said, what'd you do? What did you do to them chickens? Well, I did this. Oh, okay, yeah. So I ain't got my money back yet, but maybe I will. I'll get a bunch of, all kind of tracks in the yard. Everybody riding the bike out here, and here I am walking. But yeah, I went up to get my mail the other day. Mailbox about a 1/10 of a mile that way, because he wouldn't let me get my mail there. He had a gate, so he didn't want them coming down here messing up the ground, the big old trucks. So, you know, I can't blame him. But I get it on the way out, if I remember. So, yeah. But just finding what you want to do and walking in the woods. You know, walking in the woods ain't for everybody. But see, somebody been walking. See the tracks? Have you see that? He been riding a bicycle or something up here. And my son, he's very health conscious and exercising. That's why I had to change what I'm eating, because I've been trying to lose weight, and I did pretty good. I said, these shoes still gonna fit? I weigh like 284 right now. But I was at, last time I bought shoes, I was like 301. So I'm coming down. I'd like to get down to maybe 180 or 160. So that's a little bit of weight, but you know, at least 100 pounds. We'll see how it goes. If I can walk, I'll be lighter to fall anyway. But I had to concentrate on walking. I had to look where I'm going, but it's fun. Breathing the air. You ain't got to worry about seeing something sad on TV or seeing some crazy stuff. I don't even know what's going on in the news or anything. All I know is my grandson comes sit there. He'll sit there at the table, because I'm old school. We used to eat at the table. I still eat at the table, but nobody eats at the table. I'm the only one. It's really weird. Everybody eats whatever they're doing. So I used to like eating at a table, and there was a lady I met at, it's kind of weird. She was younger, and she acted like she was genuinely interested, and we went out to eat, but I guess she wasn't, because every excuse in the book, I'm busy, I'm sick, I got some kind of autoimmune deficiency or whatever, I don't know, anything. So she never would text me. So I finally blocked her number. It just, oh well. Yeah. But it's kind of cool. You meet people at these things, and you get to see people, and then you have to act calm. And no matter what you're doing, the only one you can talk to, for me, is Jesus and the Lord. You can't tell everybody everything. And I don't tell YouTube everything, even though it seems like I do. But you can't tell everybody everything. Like, I went to work, and, my wife died, so I was telling them, I'd be talking to them and just being myself. And a lot of people aren't that way. They had to act a certain way. So you can be yourself. I don't care. But you just can't tell them everything, which, I don't. And you got to watch out what little bit of everything you tell them. Like, they had like other stuff you could do. And so I was doing as much as I could. And they said, "Ooh, that's dangerous. You're too overexcited." So you can't tell them what you're doing, or people will assume, because they would be that way, they'll assume you're that way. So they don't understand they made you that broke the mold. There's only one. Thank goodness. It'd be a crazy world. It'd be like a kind of a bunch of homers. Oh, don't. There was a bunch of me around. You'd be like, what in the world? What in the world? Look at that. You can see the telephone pole over there. Well, it's nice, It's kind of nice and cool out here. I think it's getting down to the 50s now. What is that? Man, the leaves are falling. I'm seeing part of the neighbors. I'm seeing part of the neighbor's houses now. Like, where'd that come from? Why are you in my yard? They're not in the yard. I can see through the trees. 5 acres ain't that big, but with the woods, it seems bigger. Good gracious, look how big this trail is. Look like a road going through here. Huh, I wonder if he still works on it. He probably does. That's him lifting that 5,000 pounds. These things are big. But anyway, maybe it's daylight, I don't know. Notice you can't have C. Yeah, that's what it is. The leaves have failed a lot. Cause I can see the neighbor's land. Yeah, if you had like land that's all the grass is cut, it don't appear that big. But when you got trees, a little bit of land seems like a lot. But once all the leaves start falling, you're like, oh, it ain't that big now. I can see. It's right there. It's what it appears like. But yeah, whatever it is, get your like on whatever you like and enjoy life. Because you only got one, and no need for a bunch of drama. Enjoy life. Chase the wind in the trees, see if you can hear it. So refreshing. It'd be cool one day. I got an old video, you'd have to look for it, where it did snow, but I didn't come in the woods. I went down just in the front yard, because, you know, you got to have shoes and your socks get wet and all that stuff. It made like a loop in here. They had like one of them backhoes or something, and they cleared a lot of this stuff, but I don't know what my son's done. And he's like a human backhoe. He cleared a lot. That trail's all in here. You just walk around in circles. I'm walking around in circles today. But yeah, I wanted to go to the electronic music, and my son said he'll go if I don't have to pay for it. And I said, are you sure? Because it might be too loud for him. He might spaz out on me, and I ain't gonna leave. I pay like $100 for both of us to go, but I said at least he'd keep me awake on the way back if he ain't playing his video game. And we get to listen to some cool music, and I wouldn't have to worry about, you know, somebody kidnapping me and trying to take me back to their place. My son say, no, we can't have him. So he'd save me. Might lose a kidney or something. But I say, I'm 54. You don't want my kidneys? So they'll let me go. Yeah, you too old. Get out of here, Grandpa. All right. So old age saved me. Can't get a job, but it saved you from losing a kidney. But I seen, you see deer used to come out here before we got out here. And we smelled the area up. Made it smell like humans. And now you don't see the deer too much. But I've seen them on the road, about 3/10 of a mile on a little dirt road crossing, and they are here. So yeah, so peaceful. I just wanted to share that. You know, no coffee today. I really want some, but if I drink coffee, I won't sleep. And I got to be at work at 4 in the morning on Mondays. So, you know, I had to get up at least, what is that? Probably 2.5 hours. So 1:30 in the morning at least, since I ain't eating breakfast. But if I want to wash clothes before I go to bed or get up, I had to do 3 hours. So yeah, I just living life, enjoying everything. There's a dead tree. I'll push that thing down. I always want to do that when I go in the woods. I don't know if you see it. That dead tree. We're gonna go push it. See if it'll fall. Right there. I doubt it will, but it looks like it's ready to go. Such a baby tree. That tree said he wasn't gonna play the game. And the thing you gotta remember, how tall it is, you're gonna wanna make sure you don't push anything in you. Nope. No, it's still pretty springy. Oh, yep. It ain't dead yet. It's still pretty rubbery or springy or whatever. But you gotta be careful, because if they get dead and you push on them, big old limb come down and whack you in the head. So don't do this at home, because you might knock yourself out. I've had stuff like that happen. Just, it hurts, and it could hurt you real bad. So I thought about it after I started pushing on it. I said, you know what? Deja vu. I'm gonna have one of these limbs come down here and break my glasses. But I got lucky, because it was still rubbery. Had good tension on it, so it didn't fall down and hit me in the head. But yeah, so cool. It is really weird, all the leaves falling. Because now you can see through the trees and through the woods. So it's gonna be wild. So the leaves ain't finished falling yet. They're gonna be more. And then you'll be able to see more. And then it's gonna be wild when everything starts blooming, and then the pollen. I know we'll come out here, you'll have the pollen, and then the wind blows after the pollen in the trees and the pine tree. You just see the whole thing shaking like a big old blanket or rug getting beat with all the dust coming out of it. The whole tree would be shaking like that, and that'd be really hard to breathe to get up under that. But yeah, that'll happen in the springtime. There's some stuff. Fence in there she could have made chicken wire out of, but you get cut with it. Probably be lockjaw, so you have to have your tetanus shot. I don't know why it's over here. But yeah, I was going to show you that post thing that my son did. The power company put a new one in, and they didn't want it. The one they cut down because it was compromised with the woodpecker hole. So he made this little fence here. All these little, he cut them. That's where he probably cleared a lot of it. Cut all these little trees down. And I'm passing. He wasn't gonna make a solid fence because I told him that they were coming over here, and in that little spot where he put my tree. But this thing right here, he's a hoss. He picked that thing up. It's like a totem pole. I remember where that is. That'd be my screensaver. But yeah, he picked that joker up and decided to make it part of his shooting range, because they wanted a shooting range. But his hobbies evolved so much that, oh yeah, I want this. He did all that work. He don't even hardly shoot anymore. It's like, it was a good experience. And then he got into video games. So now he's playing video games, working out, riding his little bike, and a manual bike. He don't even shoot. He did all that work in his little shooting range, and now it don't matter. So that's how we evolve, and things change and different. It's cool how we're walking. I'm real close to this bird. I think it might have a nest in there. Let's see, where's it? Moving around. Probably about 30 feet. And it's kind of got all that brush and kind of camouflage it for me. I don't see it now, it might have flew off. But yeah, it's kind of cool. The squirrels like that, little birds. Yeah, and little birds, and it's like, you're getting old. You gotta find out ways to deal with stuff that you take for granted when you're younger, which is really crazy. Like your heart and everything. But walking really helps, and even though I have to kind of think about putting my feet straight, then they don't slide around in the shoes as much and create the blisters. So I thought I had a bad callus, but I think it was just irritated the way I was walking, because it ain't really hurting me today. Now when I go back to work and I'm walking, we'll see. But yeah, I got like 1,200 steps right now. It might not have updated, but it might have. But this was gonna be his little shooting range, and they're gonna be right there. And I said, well, they're all gonna be in your shooting range if you don't move it. So he panicked and moved everything, mostly, but it's kind of neat. There's moss here. The ground be real hard. And that's where my neighbor is going to wanted me to cut a driveway through. I didn't want to do it. But he was just wanting to bully me because he didn't want me to go down the road. But I wouldn't have been able to get nothing bigger than a car. I wouldn't have been able to get the 18-wheeler. I'd had to take out half my woods. So I said no. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Look at this moss. Yeah, moss growing. It's kind of cool. It's like a little something you see in the woods. Little moss, and there's something else they said that the deer like. I forget what they call it. I don't think they eat this, but it's like something out of a Stranger World. Isn't that cool? It's all on the ground. Kind of moss growing. This reminds me of these little oak trees right there. It kind of reminds you of being near a creek or in the mountains. Little funky little moss. Just in one little area. You know, you never know. My daughter left the well house open. There's a praying mantis over here. I told her, don't be leaving the well house open. So I guess she didn't think I put the hose on top. Because, you know, I don't want anything getting in there. I had to pay like $1,200 for the new thing. Look at that. Praying mantis. Take him off. I ain't dating you, so don't eat me. Big old thing. It ain't but about, it's only about that long on my finger, but big old bug. Never know what you're gonna find working in the yard. Out here aggravating nature. I told her, I said, close my well house. You know, you don't want some animal getting in there, or they already had some squirrels in there when they put this ramp up for my wife. But yeah, just find out what makes you happy, what you enjoy doing. And, you know, if your life was composed of one thing and things change, you gotta find something else. You gotta just keep going. Just keep going, you know. Kind of tightwad. I didn't want to spend money, but I'd like to go see some of these concerts. But then again, I could just listen to music, walk in the woods. It's like, I want to go, and then I try to justify it. You know, like, I want to go to a movie, and I think they're like $15 now. And I used to watch them on kind of some free sites, and they shut them down, and then I still got to get emotional. But I've been noticing, you know, every time I introduce myself, talk to somebody, and I always tell them, my wife died. Last night, first time that I was up there and didn't mention my wife died. Oh, I wasn't trying to disrespect her or anything, but did that thing open again? No. I'm seeing one of our old appliances in there, and I thought the door was open. I said, I just closed it. But yeah, I wasn't trying to disrespect her, but I was like, man. So, you know, and then I just have to remember what's important, you know. Take care of myself and trying to find happiness and being here for my kids and grandkids, and sitting there talking to my little grandbaby. I sit there at a table, and if he has food, he'll come in there and eat. He's all the one. Sometimes he'll sit up there with me. He's only 3. So maybe he'll want to do that. He won't know why. He said, why do I want to sit at the table when everybody else sitting at the thing? Y'all come in here. So hopefully Grandpa will rub off on him. But he'll sit up there with his little sippy cup. I'll have my coffee usually. Is that coffee? Is that coffee? I want to sit there. And then he'll be poking at me, and we did the finger touching like E.T. And yeah, so hopefully this new job give me some days off. But then I'm like, well, do I really want to go anywhere? And everybody out there, they work, and they're like, well, we don't take your vacation. I guess they're afraid they'll lose it because it is kind of a gravy job. It's nice, you know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I guess I need to get off here because a lot of people don't want to watch it when they're long. It's probably about 40 minutes. See how loud this thing is? I don't know what's wrong with it, but sometimes I think this thing freezes up. Anyway, probably need a new refrigerator, but it's still cold, so we're getting the use out of it while we can.